Hi, I'm Pat Ayres. I live here in beautiful, sunny Denver, Colorado. By day, I'm a laboratory chemist. In the evening, I come home to 5 people and cook wonderful gourmet meals for them, which is why I want to be on MasterChef. My family is, as I said, 5 people. I have my lovely wife who's filming this. I have 3 middle schoolers who love to eat the food that I cook. And in addition, we have 1 small terrier who you'll see when we get into the house, which we live in right over here. So here we are at the front steps. This is our house. We'll go in, and as I said, there's the smallest member of our family. Beautiful kitchen, which was not here 5 years ago. We've remodeled it entirely around the concept of having a wonderful kitchen with accessible spices of all varieties, which work well into my style of cooking just about everything ethnic that I could possibly imagine. Wonderful cooktop, gas of course, and a pantry that just goes and goes. So as you can see, I've got everything I could possibly need dry goods wise in this pantry ready to go. One more thing that goes with food before we get to the actual making of the food itself is something I do in my spare time, and that is wine making. So I've got a couple of batches I'm getting ready to make here pretty soon. It's fall, good season to start a good batch of wine. All the tools I need for wine making, and of course, all of my vintages in my wine cellar. So another one of my passions is gardening, which I create wonderful soil for with all the scraps that I get from our highly vegetarian meals.
Hi, I'm Pat's wife, Amy. I became aware of Pat's cooking skills pretty early on when we were dating. I had invited him over to my place and he offered to make dinner. And little did I know that that was going to be just the beginning of this journey that Pat was going to take us on. As a chemist, I think he has such an ability to understand how food works together and how flavors and acids and all of these things work together. And he tastes things before he ever makes them, which has just been so interesting to watch. We have just so enjoyed all of his cooking and how much he loves it as well.
One of the most interesting culinary experiences I've done, and I do this every year, is to travel up to the top of a Colorado mountain and visit a hut that is set up there called the 10th Mountain Huts with a friend. I get to cook on a cast iron stove and create delicious dishes at the top of the world. And I think that's something that is amazing. So, on a serious note, last year at 47, I had a heart attack. I was completely healthy in all other ways, but apparently it was time to change my diet. So I have reduced saturated fats, I've added a lot more vegetables to my cooking, and I've even tried to create vegetable burgers, vegetable meats, out of vegetarian bases. Here we are in the kitchen, ready to prepare my enchiladas auténticas with salsa roja y salsa verde. I'm going to make it from fresh ingredients, obviously, that I've selected at the local mercado. Making fresh tortillas, just like my grandma never made. as I'm cooking tortillas, I'm going to talk about me, my history with food, and what sort of inspired me as I move along, especially for foods that are, well, in my my love of ethnically diverse foods. I remember cooking a little bit with my mom, but we didn't have great things at home. We literally ate the stuff she cooked, and I learned how to cook a few things from her, but I think most of my learning to cook, or my desire to cook, came from beyond that experience. I got into school and college, lived with myself, and realized I really had a desire to make myself foods that tasted good and also were different and wonderful. And then I found that while I was learning how to make these foods, I developed a better palate for the foods around me and a better understanding of the different, the diverse things that can be used to cook. My desire has always been to produce the freshest, the best, the food closest to what you would call perfect. And I think the desire behind that comes from loving the taste of different flavors and getting into food from its perspective as a cultural entity, a center for people to join together and to express their desires to be with each other, and as a real source of cultural engagement, but nutrition as well. All the stuff that I cook, I'm always thinking of how good it is for your body, how good it is for people to eat, and how much it is in their favor to have wholesome foods that come from the heart. This meat is going to be layered between the stacks of our tortillas like a beautiful layer cake. Go ahead and start these chilies roasting. That's all flavor. Yeah.
Is that kind of hot?
Here we add our fresh plum tomatoes that have been skinned earlier today. Turn into a wonderful puree. I'm going to start getting the tortillas ready. To go, I'm going to make the salsa verde part of this dish. We want to take the tomatillos that we skinned earlier, put them in together with a little bit of our Mexican oregano, some fresh cilantro, yum, a bit of crema to cut some of the heat, as long as I can get it out of there. And on top of all of that, this wonderful green chili that I made last week from fresh roasted hatch chili, roasted right in front of me. Good stuff. Another bit of blending to get all the ingredients in together. Plate these beauties. They've just come out of the oven. Really hot, but with a nice cover of cheese on them. I'm going to add a little bit of cotija cheese to the top.